Welcome to Dreadful Digest, where we look at your favorite horror novels and rip apart their adaptations. I'm your host, Tessa Nelson, and welcome to part 2.
And I'm Reagan.
I was going to
I'm
introduce
just
you.
here.
And Reagan is back to talk about Frankenstein 2025. We're going to compare it to the original 1818 text by Mary Shelley. So if you want to learn more about the 1931 film or a little bit about the differences between the 1818 text and the 1831 text, throwing a lot of numbers at you off the top, check out last episode. But yeah, what are your thoughts on, the 2025 version? Non-spoiler thoughts.
I really liked it aesthetically. There was definitely a lot of changes when it came to plot, particularly in the honestly, a lot of it, just in general. But I did think that although it changed the plot, I thought the essence was very similar. It still kind of pondered the same questions. And for me, I'm okay if adaptations don't copy and paste everything, as long as the personalities, I'd say, like the kind of bones of it are the same, like the intention behind it. I'm trying to do without talking about the plot.
Yeah.
So yeah, aesthetic, beautiful, vibes there. No.
Would you recommend it?
Yes, and definitely more than the 1931 version.
Oh, yeah.
Like 1931, I said this in the last episode of, it really felt like it was more of a clickbait to say Frankenstein than it really was an adaptation. Versus I would comfortably call the 2025 movie an adaptation.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Guillermo del Toro, he loves Frankenstein. It's like one of his favorite novels.
I have really enjoyed seeing the press tour of people giving him stuff that Frankenstein related, and he gets so happy.
Oh, I need to watch those.
It's so wholesome.
That's cute. Yeah, I agree with you. I would definitely recommend this movie. I think aesthetically, it's super cool. There's some great cinematography, great set dressing, great costuming. And yeah, I think it really does capture the book pretty well. There's obviously definitely some changes and some, I would say the creature is definitely different in both. However, I appreciated that Guillermo trying to hit different plot points from the book and incorporate, things that were left out of the 1931 film. And definitely, and still like kind of combining elements from the original film into this as well.
Yeah, he definitely took some visual elements that are kind of almost considered, like you just like can't separate it from people's image of Frankenstein. Yeah. But yet he also was not untruthful to the book.
Yeah. It reminds me of in Dr. Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining, where Mike Flanagan used the overlook from the Shining film, even though notably Stephen King really dislikes The Shining. However, when people think of The Shining, they think of the Stanley Kubrick film and not Stephen King's book for the most part. So it's kind of like you have to use the iconography from that film if you're doing a sequel. And that's kind of what I felt with this is like there's some iconography that you just can't do Frankenstein without. And still he made it his own. So if you want the synopsis of Frankenstein, I talked about it last episode, but everyone knows the plot of Frankenstein.
I didn't. I knew it a little bit. Like I knew, okay, you had Victor Frankenstein. He created a creature.
Yeah.
He went, shit.
Yeah.
That was about what I knew.
That's it. That's basically the plot.
Honestly, yeah, that is a lot of the plot. The rest of it's just kind of dilemmas.
Yeah, and it depends on who takes the source material and how they interpret the oh shit moment of Victor Frankenstein.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
the oh shit moment
that's
does
basically
change.
What we're talking about. But yeah, so if you want the synopsis, if you want more of the research on the book, check out last episode. In this episode, we are jumping right into the research for the 2025 film.
Actually, I have a question for you.
Oh.
What did you think of it? You asked me, but I didn't. You didn't.
I just gave my non-spoiler review.
But would you recommend it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Guillermo del Toro's films, so I can't speak on any of his other work, which I know has a lot of like a cult following. So I know people like his stuff aesthetically. I would definitely recommend this one.
Okay. Yeah. I like the direction of the aesthetics, but I will say as time goes on, I'm getting a pet peeve from green screens.
I didn't notice it that much.
I don't know. There was something about the setting that it took me out of it because it felt too fantastical a little bit instead of being grounded.
Yeah, the book is very more. Yeah, that's a good point. I
And
didn't think of it as grounded, but it is.
yeah, like, yeah, he creates a monster, but it's beyond that. Like it feels like life. The movie, loved the aesthetics, but do you ever go back and rewatch a kids movie and maybe you didn't notice as a kid that it was very whimsical in terms of its set, but then watching it as an adult, you're like, wow, that's not what architecture generally looks like.
Yeah.
That was me watching the Casper the Friendly Ghost last year. I hadn't watched it since I've been a kid. I was like, what is this house?
Yeah.
That's-
Or like the iCarly apartment.
Yes.
Like, how does that exist?
The butter sculpture.
Makes no sense. The elevator goes through their apartment.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but yeah. So
We're comparing Guillermo del Toro's amazing
iCarly
sets to the iCarly set.
but that's kind of how I felt looking at the set for this movie. Of yes, it was absolutely.
It didn't feel
gorgeous.
real.
It didn't feel. It definitely added a level of separation between my ability to, I suppose, like relate to the characters and their flaws.
Yeah. I wonder, I mean, there's so many Frankenstein adaptations out there. So if anyone knows of any that are more, not even just faithful to the book, but also maybe more gritty. Like, because when I think of like, and obviously the book is not set in England.
There's a little bit.
Yeah,
Very
but
briefly.
mostly Switzerland, and then he travels around. This film is set in, I believe they go to London and then Edinburgh. And I'm just like, in that time period, those places were nasty. There was like just horse poop, human poop on the ground. Like people were
Didn't they have indoor
stinky.
plumbing? They changed okay, did you notice that they changed the century?
What do you mean by that? They changed the century?
Yeah, so in the book, from the letters, it's the 1700s.
Uh-huh.
In the movie, it's the mid 1800s.
Oh.
He moved it forward.
I did not know that.
So there would be indoor plumbing, I believe.
At that point?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, the
I'm
Romans
wrong.
had figured out indoor plumbing.
But I still feel like that's Industrial Revolution, right? Or is that 1900s?
I think it was probably starting by then.
Yeah.
Because you
I
had
feel
like trains by that point.
It's just like the aesthetic of Old England. When I think of that, I think of like Sweeney Todd. Like I just think of gross, grimy, like fluids where they shouldn't be.
Yeah, I think that would definitely work for this.
Yeah.
But he, again, is very like, this is something we said in the last, to the last movie, is that he's very isolated physically.
Uh-huh.
And he's not in the book, but he is in these movies. And this is another situation where he's very isolated and is like his Rapunzel tower.
Yeah.
Let down your hair, Frankenstein. There was something about that just really separated, I guess, the world from ours.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between a crazy cool tower to an apartment
with the big hole in the floor.
Yeah, the random hole for some reason. Yeah. So let's learn about this film, the creation behind it. This is an American Gothic science fiction drama film written and directed by Guillermo del Toro. He is also known for The Shape of Water, Pan's Labyrinth, and Crimson Peak, among other popular works, but those are the more horror-ish stuff. The film stars Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein, Jacob Elordi as the creature, and Mia Goth playing two roles. She plays Elizabeth and the mother.
Yes.
Definitely a Freudian element there.
It does, even though I know that they made it not incest in the later version of Frankenstein, it does fit with the original, since in the original she is a first cousin, adoptive sister of
on the mom's side.
First cousin, adoptive sister, getting married. So having the same actress works for that.
Yeah, especially with Victor's appreciation of his mother.
Yeah. I will also say, I didn't realize how much, this sounds so weird, how much eyebrows mattered. Because if it had not been pointed out to me, I don't think I would have immediately clocked that she played both characters. Because they gave her eyebrows.
Which character has eyebrows?
The mom.
The mom has eyebrows and Elizabeth doesn't?
I think she has her normal eyebrows that she normally has.
Her eyebrows are like, she doesn't have eyebrows.
I thought they were just really pale.
Oh, maybe. As I mentioned, this was a dream project of Guillermo del Toro. He considers this novel to be a Bible to him. He's been wanting to make this forever.
Saying it's a Bible works for this, particularly with the I am God.
Yeah.
I am playing God, which is also said in the book.
But yeah, so Del Toro, he wanted to make this forever. And I didn't finish the documentary on Netflix, but...
Oh, is there a documentary about him making this?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
I'll have to watch that.
I need to finish it. But from what I remember, he was like, I've been wanting to make this forever, but I felt nervous to make it because it has to be done right, and I didn't want to mess up. You only get one shot at this kind of deal.
I would say his care for it very much shows.
Mm-hmm.
He clearly very much cared about the characters.
Yeah. 100%.
And what they were going through in their story.
Yeah. You definitely feel that.
I will say he really expanded Elizabeth in comparison to the book. I can't speak. I know that technically he adapted the 1831 edition of Frankenstein, not the original text. So I don't know if that's actually from Mary Shelley's side or if that was him, but she really expanded Elizabeth's part.
Yeah, I can't remember how Elizabeth was different in the 1831 text.
Well, just like the fact that she knows about the monster. She has a lot. This sounds bad. A lot more of a personality and screen time.
Well, yeah, in this version, but in terms of Mary Shelley writing her, I don't know how different it was.
Yeah, I don't know whose choice that kind of came from.
Yeah. So this was initially in development for Universal Pictures. However, they suspended the project in relation to its planned Dark Universe franchise. Now, we have talked about the Dark Universe before in our Invisible Man
Can you tell
series.
me what that is?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's basically with I forget which movie. I think it was the Tom Cruise Mummy. That was the start of it. They wanted to have their own cinematic universe, basically. So they were going to do like a Johnny Depp Invisible Man. They were going to do like Wolfman. They were going to do a bunch of stuff.
Like Avengers
kind
horror
of
characters?
Kind of, yeah. It obviously didn't work out. They ended up making a different Invisible Man, which is much better than probably what it would have been. And yeah, and then Guillermo was able to make this through Netflix. So. A couple fun facts about Jacob Elordi. He actually replaced Andrew Garfield in the role 9 weeks before production.
That's short.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of time.
Yeah, Garfield had to drop it for scheduling issues, I'm assuming. I think that's what I read.
He dropped it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I forget what.
I mean, I'm sure he would have been great. I do really like Andrew Garfield's work, but I do think just from a physical standpoint that Jacob Elordi fits it. Elordi, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Just like fits the description because he is supposed to be like 7 or 8 feet tall.
Huge.
And I believe
strong.
And I don't believe Oscar Isaac is short. So like having a really tall actor play the creature, it adds a power imbalance.
I mean, I think Andrew Garfield's tall, but he's not like physically imposing like Jacob Elordi is.
I don't think he's as tall as Jacob Elordi. I could be wrong. But
so I wonder what the thought process was with that casting.
With Andrew
Garfield?
Having
a more lengthy guy play the monster. I'm just curious. I remember the news being announced that he was going to be in it, and I was so excited because I really like Andrew Garfield. But Jacob Elordi did great.
Mm-hmm.
He also would sometimes arrive at the makeup trailer at 10 p.m. and have to stay up all night as they were putting the creature makeup on.
I'm not jealous of that.
That sounds awful. Having to be up at 10 p.m., probably filming at like 6 a.m. Absolutely horrible.
I feel like him and Jim Carrey could like bond over makeup trauma.
Yes. Oh my God. So prosthetic supervisor and hairstylist Megan Manny applied 42 separate prosthetic appliances to his face and body. For his voice, Elordi listened to Mongolian throat singing and practiced his lines while wearing his fake teeth.
He had fake teeth?
I guess so. Yeah, those were the methods he used to prepare for the role, which like, hey, he only had 9 weeks to do it. That's pretty impressive.
Just reading the book took me a while. So also getting into the rest of it, impressive.
Moving on to Mia Goth, she spent time in a convent observing nuns to prepare for her role. She also drew inspiration for her performance from her young daughter's fearless reaction to seeing the creature in full prosthetics.
I completely forgot that in the movie that she is engaged after being right out of a convent. I forgot about that.
I did too.
I don't know how that works.
What does that have to do with the rest of the story? Why did they add that?
I'm going to guess education because I know that they were well educated.
Well,
I could be so wrong on that, but I do believe that to be true. And that kind of fits with the whole bugs thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Bugs thing being she
loves bugs.
Yes. And the way that Victor Frankenstein is obsessed with life and anything grandiose. That's her in Bugs, where he thinks the kind of divine, if you will, can be seen in something as big as life. For her, it's bugs.
Something as small as bugs.
Yeah, something
That's
as
cool. That's a cool
inconsequential.
parallel.
Yeah.
Between the two characters.
And you can also see how they treat the creature differently, partially because of those views.
Although she did put a butterfly in a little tiny jar thing, and I was like, that's not good for that. That's not good.
No, but it was interesting because I think either way, the creature did not live up to Victor Frankenstein's kind of expectations or bar.
Mhm.
And you definitely saw that in how he treated the creature versus, I'd say, Elizabeth's character didn't really have expectations of the creature and was willing to accept him for where he was at.
Yeah. Lastly, this film has received 9 nominations at the 98th Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Supporting Actor. So,
Wait, who?
Best Supporting Actor. So I think that's Elordi. I think he got nominated.
He, realistically, is not there a ton in the movie. Like, he's there, but
That was one of my complaints, and I might as well talk about it now, is the one qualm I had with this film was the pacing. And that's not to say that it felt long. In fact, even for a 2.5 hour movie, like I
Mhm.
felt I was drawn to the screen. It didn't bother me, the length. However, they took a long time with creating the creature, and then the stuff with the creature was way shorter than I would have liked.
For the book, I really liked volume 1, where it kind of established who Victor was, where he came from, how he ended up wanting to create the creature. And something with both of these movie adaptations is that neither one of them really did that. I mean, this one more so had a little bit of his childhood, but I
Yeah.
didn't quite see the seeds being planted of wanting to have this notoriety that you saw in
Yeah.
the book.
That I was missing from it.
Yeah, because I mean, you're right. Like, they did not spend very much time purposely in the book talking about the creation. I'm sure part of it to create kind of a shroud of like mystery so it doesn't, age. Well, you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Also because he's telling this to the ship's captain as a bit of a tale of warning, and therefore does not want him to follow in his footsteps. So you don't get that detail, but in this case, he's still relaying what happened to the captain, but is giving him all the details.
Yeah, giving him all the details.
Not getting the regret on the deathbed.
And then the monster gets to explain his side of it.
Yeah,
too.
versus it being through Victor.
Mhm.
I mean, I personally liked that it was through Victor only because I knew his judgments were going through it.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
then
remember.
it makes them come together at the end. So it works narratively for this version.
Yeah.
However, yeah, I just wish we spent more time with seeing the creature like alone after being created and struggling with that. Maybe having more instances of him being around other humans or something.
Yeah,
I think I would have liked that.
Like the town that runs away because he's ugly.
Mhm. Yeah.
That you can just fully blame Victor for because he sewed it together. He chose the parts.
It's his fault. He
You
knew
know,
what it was going to look like.
He could create the avatar, and that's what he did. I would say in terms of the childhood, what I thought was really interesting was the father figure was so different and the family life was so different between at least the 1818 text and the movie.
Mhm.
Because something that I really enjoyed about the book was actually the father. And he seemed very supportive, just in general, and really caring about his son's mental health. Versus, in no uncertain terms, being an ass in the movie.
Yeah, that was one of my notes. And we can dive into the book versus movie segment now. Yeah, the father and mother in the book versus movie have different dynamics with Victor. In the book, Victor has a pretty good childhood.
Yeah.
Both of his parents support him, love him. In the film, his father is pretty cruel. He physically and verbally abuses him, forcing him to memorize scientific things. And if he doesn't, he abuses his son.
Shows clear favoritism to
Favoritism
his other son.
towards William.
I personally preferred the book where he was more self-driven when it came to learning about science. Because it, I guess, made his choice to create the creature and all of that more his own.
Yeah.
Versus being almost pushed into it. Or like, I don't know how to describe that. Because like his father was always wanting the best thing. And like him to know everything.
Well, yeah, and it's almost like when your parents want you to do something, you're going to rebel and do the opposite. So it's like, why would this Victor want to pursue the sciences when he knew his dad wanted him to do that? You think he would want to do the, I don't
mean,
know what the opposite would be.
maybe-
The arts, I guess.
Maybe desperate.
He needs
Looking for
approval.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose he's in all of the same somewhat subject as what his father did. His father, I believe, also was a doctor, like of living people versus trying to put together the dead.
His wife did not live. And I think that was interesting. Victor is 17 when his mom dies of scarlet fever in the book. However, in the film, she dies from childbirth and when he's younger.
Much younger.
Yeah, he's much younger. And he kind of has this clear idea that his dad might not have done everything he could have done to save her.
They do not seem to get along.
They are not a happy couple.
No, they are
Definitely not. Jumping back to the beginning here, we start off in both versions on a vessel going to the North Pole. We're introduced to Captain, forget his name. Captain Robert. In the book, they see Frankenstein. He is on his deathbed, basically. They rescue him. Frankenstein relays his story.
Abandon the dog.
And they abandoned a husky or something.
He's dog sledding across the ice, I assume. And they mention that one of his dogs alive, but all the other ones are missing. And then you never hear about the living dog again.
No, they don't have enough food for it.
They never say that.
That's what I'm assuming. But yeah, you're right. The monster does not show up at the beginning. He does not show up and start killing a bunch of the captain's men. And he only ever sees the creature when Victor is about to die at the end of the book.
I will say something that I think I have noticed in general, and it's something that did surprise me when I was reading, was just how young Victor is. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the story would be different if the age was accurate. It would be don't get me wrong, I love Oscar Isaac, but he is not past 421. Not that he's trying to be.
No.
And I think it would come across differently as kind of foolishness almost, more so if he was the age that he was in the book. And maybe rash.
Yeah, and it's been a few weeks since I watched it, so if I'm wrong, let me know. But I don't remember any explanation as to why he's pursuing this.
The life thing?
Yeah, why? Why?
I mean, I believe he mentions very briefly that if he can create life, maybe he can reanimate someone who has died, and he thinks of his mother. Not that he's going to revive her specifically, but rather in the future, if I had a loved one who's died, I could bring them back and not lose them.
And that's the old angel imagery that keeps popping up.
Okay, that's something that I believe comes up more so in the 1831 version, but I'm not entirely sure that the motivation of that kind of divine angel being there, or like that kind of push, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
Versus it being purely just his fault. And I personally prefer it to be his choice and his own undoing rather than having an external blame. I don't particularly like fate. I prefer that he led himself to his own damnation a bit.
And I think that's the key difference between the 1818 text and most of these adaptations that we've been covering. The idea of both Victor and the creature are choosing, they are making decisions, negative and positive, of their own volition compared to this film.
Oh.
Huh?
I thought you were going to say the other book. I was like, 1831, that's the year.
I mean, I can't speak too much on it because I haven't actually read it. This film and the 1931 film, where the creature in the 1931 film was like you were saying, nature versus nurture. In this case, he was born with a criminal brain.
Yeah.
It was, not his doing, obviously.
A lot of my issues has been logistics of like, where's he getting these body parts and no one's noticing? You know what? I will give them that. Okay, there's public executions and the body's there, and I'll give them that.
Steal from the college.
I'll give them that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's something also that this adaptation changes, in the sense that they really hammer home the no, man is the monster, not the monster as we know of him. Mm-hmm. And it's no, the creature, he makes some pretty messed up decisions in the book. He's not dumb. He knows that what he's doing is wrong and he's doing it maliciously and intentionally killing all these people. And that's something that neither of these films has gotten.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a you make me miserable, I'm gonna make you miserable, eye for an eye. And although it's not a good way to do things, you can kind of see even if you don't agree with the justification, you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
And that was, not there with the movie. They definitely made it a lot more clear cut versus, I think, in the book.
Good versus bad.
Yeah, in the book, it's shades of gray. There is no black and white.
Yeah.
Except the dad.
Definitely.
The dad is great.
Well, speaking of the dad, he does not die when Victor is young like he does in the film. In the book, he dies pretty late in the book. He dies of, I took it as heartbreak, but after Elizabeth gets killed by the creature, he's dealt with like so many deaths in like a short amount of time that he just can't handle it anymore.
Yeah, like within, like he has the wife, and then 4 years later, you have his youngest son, and then Elizabeth within like a couple months, I believe.
Yeah.
And then also I don't know how close he was, but he at least was somewhat friendly with Henry
Clerval?
I
don't know.
Oh no, Henry something rather.
Yeah.
And just everyone's just kind of, and of course the maid.
Yeah.
Just dropping like flies around him.
Yeah, literally. Let's talk a little bit about William because he is totally different in this version. In the book, he dies when he's like 6 or 7 by the hands of the creature. It's the reason that Victor knows that the creature has returned and then he's still around. In the film, however, Victor ages up. William ages up. He's a grown adult. And he's engaged to Elizabeth.
And they also separated them. They didn't like grow up together in this kind of stable home that you saw in the book.
It was after the dad died, right? And then
they send him off to relatives in Austria, Hungary.
Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, they split up
somewhere in there.
In childhood.
This is just me. I really liked in the book having like seeing so much of his childhood, but then also you get university and his associate's degree is 2 years versus him teaching. I guess it's just kind of how he's introduced as an adult, and he definitely goes
I wasn't sure what he was doing. It seemed to me like he was trying to show his experiments to some judges or something, or some like high-ranking professors, and they were like, "This is blasphemous." But
yeah, maybe like going for like a grant or something.
Yeah, I didn't understand what. Maybe they were like, "You have to prove that these experiments you're doing are worth it," and yeah, I couldn't quite tell what he was doing. But yeah, in the book, he's going to school, he's learning chemistry, and that's what ignites his love for the sciences. In the film, his dad kind of forces that onto him, and then, I don't know, he's teaching at a college. And
I mean, definitely from the beginning in the book, he wants to play God. Like, he clearly wants that kind of...
That's why he's into alchemy or whatever.
Well, I think it's like he wants admiration. And I think that's the way he thinks he's going to get it.
And yet he keeps his creation a secret.
I think he becomes embarrassed once he sees how ugly it is. He created that face.
But even like the 2 years that he's making it, he's doing it totally a secret. Meanwhile, in this version and the 1931 version, people get involved. People like know what's happening.
Yeah, that's something like they really feed more into the mad scientist and everyone knows what he's doing versus it being a bit more of a dirty secret of this is like questionable when it comes to morals. I'm stealing people's body parts.
I'm hunkering down in my apartment, my studio.
With a bunch of body parts.
It's going to smell.
That are hopefully not rotting.
And I'm not going to talk to my family. I'm not sending a letter. They won't know how I'm doing.
They think of him as almost being like sick because he's so obsessive. He is single-minded also in the movie, but I suppose what's kind of causing that is different.
As we're talking, I really feel like we don't know that much about this Victor in the film.
Not
like
really.
His motivations. Like, I mean, what you said about wanting maybe recognition that he didn't get from his father.
That's such like.
But then he eventually becomes like his father because he physically abuses the creature and whatnot. But I feel like I don't know this guy, and yet we spent so much time focusing on him, in like at the beginning. But yeah, he gets the attention of Elizabeth Elizabeth's uncle, Heinrich Harlander. He is a new character for the film, and he wants to fund this research. He sees Victor doing his thing at the school, and he's like, I want to help you succeed. And he has his reasons for it. Yeah, so Harlander, he essentially wants to use Victor to create life so he could put his brain in the creature.
He has something, tuberculosis, something.
Yeah, he's dying. I think you're right.
Yeah, which to me, although we don't see it in the movie because they change how she dies, I kind of very much took that back to the book of him kind of thinking, oh, I can bring someone back, because at this point his grief is still very fresh for his mother. And
but he doesn't want to help Harlander.
No,
he refuses.
And that's kind of an interesting difference. Is kind of then faced with, at least in the book, something that he thinks about when he first starts as like a reason why he wants to do this. And then being faced with that in the movie, and he's going, no, but it's not out of a moral thing. He says it's because of the way the disease like infects the body and that his brain is impure and it could ruin it.
That's true.
It's not
he did use that reasoning.
Normally I would question if that was his true reasoning, but he did seem...
He was very much hyper-focused on this being perfect and going well.
Yes.
And he was like, I can't have a brain that's messed up.
Yeah. So I didn't take it as being an excuse. I took it as that was truly how he felt.
So it's pretty vague how Victor gets body parts to create the creature in the book and how he brings it to life. We know he uses some form of chemistry, maybe galvanization, all that stuff. That said, there's no scenes where he uses electricity to bring the creature to life. It's just like, oh, he did it. The creature's alive now. And we just kind of brush over that.
I do wonder if that is why they moved the timeline. Because in the book, it's the 1700s, the 18th century. And in this movie, it's like the mid 1800s, 19th century. And 1700s, no electricity. But if you're going to keep with that like famous like imagery of Frankenstein and you're going to keep the electricity, you got to move it in order to have that, or else it just doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. And I feel like there's just so many cool things you can do with electricity that you can really lean into that more so than like, I'm gonna put these vials together, like I'm doing chemistry. I don't know how chemistry works, but I assume that's the reason. And we know Guillermo loves spectacle and things being kind of out of this world. So I get why he would lean into that.
There was definitely no imprisoning happening in the book like there kind of was in the movie. Because in the book, I believe he goes to sleep, sees the creature, and goes, he screams, and just goes, "Oh my God, you're ugly!" And
he dips. He becomes a deadbeat dad.
Exactly after.
Yeah, that was my next thing. He like immediately runs out.
Yeah,
from seeing the creature, and he's horrified. In the film, he actually he stays around for a bit. He shows the creature kindness initially. However, when the creature can't say anything besides the word Victor, he starts getting real angry real fast.
Which is very reminiscent of earlier in the movie when he's being disciplined by his father.
Yeah, it's a definite parallel. He's becoming his father. Moving on to Elizabeth, she never actually interacts with the creature in the book until it kills her. Yeah. In the film, we see the creature and her interact quite a bit. She empathizes with the creature more so than any other character. She sees herself in the creature. Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where I've been seeing merch with them both on it, and I'm like, people ship them. The monster fucker community is very happy.
Forget William, forget Victor, creature unnamed.
All the way. She does have that childlike wonder. So I definitely can see how she was influenced by her own child when creating this performance. Because there is just like, when they first interact, she's like so in awe of this life that's been created. I think it's a really interesting performance.
That is a moment where the creature and Elizabeth, I feel like they're very much mirroring each other because they're both going at it with this, I said like childlike wonder, but the difference really being is the creature is all alone. There's no one else. for him to be with versus she has William. She has kind of her uncle.
Yeah.
She has community. She has support. And you kind of...
But she still feels like a loner.
She definitely still feels like a loner, but I think being completely ostracized versus having at least feeling like there's some place, you see the difference.
Yeah. I still feel like she has this sense of not belonging, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she's so like hyper focused on bugs, and I think that's also why she leaned into her friendship with Victor, although he wanted more and she did not.
Which is, I feel like, different from the book also.
Oh, yeah.
Because he keeps procrastinating the wedding, which is not giving confidence.
Yeah, not the husband of the year for sure.
And she's like, hey, I do love you, but like, what's up? What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
Versus in this case, it's the opposite.
He wants to be with her, even though she's with his brother. And she's like, no, you weirdo.
Honestly, yeah.
Moving on to the monster's tale. He relays his tale in the book and describes what happens after parting ways with Victor. So he comes across a family that happens in the film as well. And he longs to be a part of this family. He learns how to read while listening to them. He lives like in a barn on the side of their main house. Now, in the book, it versus the film, it's a bit different on who's part of this family. So in the book, it includes the grandfather, brother, sister, and brother's wife.
Is it grandfather? I thought it was father.
I don't know. But there's names in the book. I forgot to write them down. But yeah, and we get a background on how they lost their fortune and all that. In the film, the family has the inclusion of a young girl and several men. I don't know what the point is of that change.
I mean, I suppose with the book, thinking about it now, the son, I definitely see, I guess, a little bit of that rashness that we also see in Victor in the book, where he gets his family into this mess by doing things without particularly thinking or watching his back.
With good intentions,
good intention, but frontal lobe clearly not developed is what I gotta say.
Okay.
I think how he ends up there is a little bit different because, you know, in the book, he's kind of going through the human, I don't know, I suppose
speed run.
Yeah, speed run.
Yeah.
He's doing the temple run of human knowledge.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he goes to a village. They see his face. They also scream and run. And I believe the reason he ends up in the barn or the hovel or whatever, I think it's whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I think Barn's the movie. I think hovel is the...
Yeah,
in
hovel
the book.
Sounds right.
Yeah, because he talks about like...
hovel, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, like blocking the entryway. But anyway, he doesn't go up to them because he's been treated so badly or like kind of been shunned already in the book. I believe he go there initially because of wolves in the movie. There's wolves somewhere. Yeah,
so in the film, he's kind of hanging about in the woods and then he gets shot by the men who live at the cabin. Mm-hmm. He runs to the cabin and hides or something. Or no, I think he follows them. He follows the men to the cabin.
I don't quite remember.
On the book, doesn't he get shot?
He does, but that's unrelated.
It is.
I don't think it has anything to do with them. I think that's when there's the girl and he saves her from drowning.
So I think he just comes across the hovel then and then discovers there's people living there.
Yeah, something like that. And he's there for a lot longer. He's there for like over a year in the book, learning how to read and write and talk and just language in general. Uh-huh. And also like what he desires is this family unit.
Yeah, look, and that's the time frame is definitely different between the book and the film. So when the creature finally gets the nerve to talk to the father figure, grandfather, father, I don't know exactly. He's blind. He decides to introduce himself to this blind figure and to hopefully gain his acceptance and be welcomed into this family.
And not be first judged by his appearance.
Right. And their time together is cut short in the book with the interruption of the other family members walking in on them. However, in the film, the family members are gone for a while. He and the grandfather have a connection. They're together for weeks or months.
Yeah, a decent amount of time. Yeah, because I think the family leaves and he's praying, I want to say, or something like that he said something about, I think he wants to stay there and like pray over the winter or something rather. There's some reason.
Yeah, he wants to stay there because he was like, this is my home.
Something like that.
Something.
But
yeah.
it is interesting because I think in the book, even though the creature is doing nice things for them, like making sure they always have firewood and shoveling the snow and all of that, and they never question it, in the movie, the old man kind of, he's like, oh, he almost seems like he knew about it. He knew about the creature. He somehow got the vibe.
He's like, but then he's like, it's the spirit of the woods to his family. He's like,
yeah,
it's good fortune or something.
But I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. So he had like a second sight. He kind of knew that somebody was helping them out. But yeah, they have a connection. In the film, he ends up getting killed by a bunch of wolves that attack him when the creature's not home. And then the family shows up and they think that the creature did that to their father.
These people suck. Just gonna put that out there.
Yeah, no, they suck in both versions.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the book, they obviously, like I said, they came across the creature kneeling next to the grandfather and like, get out of here. You're creepy and ugly and scary.
I think in the book, they're talking. They show up and go, ugly.
Yeah.
And then he runs.
Exactly. And then they end up leaving this house that they're renting.
Yeah, they abandon it along with all their crops and everything.
Yeah, they're like, we want to break this lease.
Which is just crazy. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, stalkers are real.
I mean, if you had we love the creature. Don't get me wrong. Wouldn't you also want to leave too?
I mean, sure, but the fact that the grandfather was talking to him like in a civilized way.
Yeah.
If I I don't know, went home like my parents' house and they had someone at the table and they were talking to them, I would not immediately scream and run away, even though I don't know them.
Yeah.
No matter how ugly they are. Yeah. I'd probably at least, start with an introduction. Like that can happen later. Yeah. The screaming and running and abandonment can happen later.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. So as we've kind of talked about at the top of the episode, the creature has more cruel intentions and is more of a morally ambiguous character in the book. In the film, he's definitely portrayed as being more relatable, someone that we understand and can empathize with. He only kills in the film in self-defense.
Well, yeah, or I guess in retaliation.
But I know he enacts he killed the crewmates because they were coming after him. So he enacts violence when people are coming for him. In the book, he is very intentional. He's calculated. When Victor refuses to make him a bride, he's like, okay, I'm going to destroy everything you love. I'm going to
make you feel how I feel.
Yeah, I'm going to make you miserable. I'm going to make you a wretch as I am. I love saying that.
Is that going to like the new word in your vocabulary?
That's what I think about. And it's happening in the book I'm reading now. They're saying wretch a lot. I'm like, oh my God.
Bring it back.
Another
wretch
word.
2026.
Use another word. God. Yeah. I mean, it's like we've talked about it extensively in the last one, but I do like the fact that this book deals with of being human and right versus wrong and how sometimes those lines can be blurred and all that stuff. And it's like you can feel for both Victor and the creature and vice versa at different times throughout the book. And again, it's just like Hollywood has to be so like one note. And this is not me coming for Guillermo del Toro. It's just the nature of the entertainment industry. It's like you can't have something too complicated for audiences. They need to have somebody to root for. They need to have somebody to despise. And I'm glad they didn't make the creature the quote unquote monster or the villain. But I don't know. I'm just like, let's have a complex monster movie. I don't know.
It's hard. Particularly when the book relies so much on their inner monologue, and you then kind of hearing their thought process and kind of the cause and effect of their behavior. You can't really do that as in a movie. They do
have voiceover in this version.
They do, but there's just so much in the book. The 1931 movie, it's very clear that although Victor is nuts, they still think of him as being the good guy, right?
I don't know. I think that's what
they're going for.
They're trying to go for it, but it did not come across to me at all.
I think they were trying to go for that. Because, I mean, I think it's clear in who survives, honestly. Versus in this movie, I'd say it's almost kind of reversed, where I viewed it as almost that Victor was more so the villain, but we're just getting the story from his perspective.
Yeah.
Instead of following the good guy. Versus, the book is very much middle ground. Neither one of them is in the right. They both are flawed. And I think it works because of that.
Few more notes here. So in the film, which this took me by surprise, I will be honest, Victor actually shoots and kills Elizabeth accidentally. He is trying to kill the creature, but accidentally kills Elizabeth in the process. Now,
lack of forethought.
What?
Another lack of forethought there.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty of that.
In his defense, like, heat of the moment.
He also doesn't seem the type to know how to use a gun very well.
That's true. He should stick to his beakers.
Yeah, stick to the things you know. And in the book, the creature kills Elizabeth after vowing to kill her on their wedding night, and he follows through with those plans.
I will say, one thing that really annoyed me about Victor in the book is he's like, oh, the creature took me by surprise. I didn't know this was going to happen. The creature was very good and very explicit when explaining what he was going to do, how he was going to do it.
When he was going to do it.
But of course, Victor always thought of himself. Like, oh, he's not going to kill Elizabeth. He's going to kill me because I'm the big shot.
I saw that a mile away.
He literally says, I'm going to kill her because I want you to be miserable. I want you to be alone. And
he's so
self-centered.
It's street smart and what's the other one?
Book smart?
Book smart. He's book smart, not street smart.
Yes.
And the creature is street smart and he's learning to be book smart too.
I still question how in the hell he learns to read.
Yeah.
But we're just letting you know what?
It's Pocahontas logic. You know, in the animated Pocahontas where it's like in 5 minutes she learns English in its entirety. And it's like,
yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
We're just going to
we'll go
rush
with
through that, I guess. There is no Henry Clerval in this film or the professor character who, again, I'm forgetting his name. But yeah, Henry Clerval is Victor's friend in the book, his companion. He gets killed by the creature. The professor is the one that kind of ignites the love of chemistry that Victor has when he's in college.
Yeah, I think initially when he meets his first professor, he is enamored by the idea of alchemy, which at this point they have long since realized that ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, fake news.
Fake news, but he loves the grandioseness of it. And I need to find a better word, but that's what we're going with. Yeah, you do not have that. Although I thought one of the panelists, judges, or whatever in that kind of opening adult scene for Victor, I thought it shared the name of the original professor, not the one that supported him, but the other one.
I think you're right. I forgot to write the note.
Who was all
of who it was.
You've wasted your time. I can't believe you've done that.
Yeah.
You have to start all over again.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Waldman.
Yes.
Professor Waldman is the one that helped him out.
Okay.
Yeah. I said Waldman last episode. It would be Waldman. I got that wrong.
It is interesting, though, that in the book, he has a very extensive support system with like friends, professors, I assume schoolmates, you don't really see them, but like family. And versus in this movie, Victor's very alone at the start of it.
Yeah, like he doesn't even have Elizabeth.
He doesn't have Elizabeth. His brother's off who knows where.
Dad hates him.
Well,
Mom's dead. Dad's dead.
Dad's dead. That's certainly very interesting. He's very isolated in the movie, but versus in the book, he self-isolates, but his community's still there. And it's still trying to reach out to him.
You know that that meme of Meet the Robinsons where it's like, have you seen that movie?
You have to describe this a little bit more.
Where the villain guy, when he's a kid, he's so tired and he's walking down the hallway and he's like, everybody hates me. And then everybody in the hallway is like, hey, you want to like join us for,
yes.
You know, we want to hang out later. And he's like, everybody hated me. That's how I imagine Victor. He's like, I'm just so like moody and nobody understands me. And it's like, dude, you have a great support system. Like you need, like compared to most people in this time period, I think you've got it pretty chill. You've just made your life suck. And that's on you.
Truly. Yeah.
Something that was interestingly added into this film is that the creature is kind of described as never being able to die, like his flesh regrows.
Kind of going back into like almost the, I guess, blasphemy of like kind of that more of the religious question of this of, oh my gosh, you've created life and now he can't die. You've somehow ruined this cycle that's supposed to be the only guaranteed is everyone is born and then everyone dies. what happens in the middle, who knows? And now you've disrupted that.
And the creature even like is angry about it. He's like, I can't die.
Yeah, because he's so miserable and alone.
Yeah.
Which is something that is true in also the book. But in the book, they don't really say that he is indestructible. But he does say he is miserable, and he very much compares himself to Adam, and he wants his Eve and Victor as being his god, but a cruel one.
I would assume that the creature in the book can die. He's just very physically strong and can survive the elements a lot better than a regular human. But yeah, he gets shot. He bleeds like normal. Like
he has to heal for a while.
Yeah, he's not regrowing flesh. He even has an idea of lighting himself on fire at the end of the book to end his life, essentially. So
in the book, yes, he comes, he's made from dead
body
parts.
Superpowers.
But like realistically, like he's
super strength.
He's strong, but like not immortal.
Yeah.
Versus in the movie, took that to an even bigger level.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice? I know that they definitely had this in the book. I don't think it was in the movie. Of he doesn't know who Victor is. Like he knows that he is a creator, but how he figures out who created him is because he took, they call it a dress. I'm going to guess a coat or something. And it has Victor's notes of how to create him, the creature. Mm-hmm. And so he uses that to then find him, to find Victor, which means he has the reason, he knows what went into making him.
So he could do it.
That's what got me, is that I was like, okay, you don't have the, the associate's degree in science, but you have them. I mean, even not all of them, but you have the notes.
That's a good point. I totally forgot about that.
He's clearly very smart, and I think can figure that out. Versus, I don't think there is that at all. It almost seems
they
like
kind of expand upon it in the film. The grandfather guy kind of tells him to like go to his roots, and so he's like, I vaguely remember this tower. He goes back to the tower, finds all the Victor's notes, and also the letter.
Yeah.
So he does come across his notes just in a more extended way.
Well, also with the change in how like the creation story of not monster, creature. I'm determined to try to use creature.
Change the language.
Yes, but anyway, is that with I suppose the storm, it always seems like this is the one chance. This is like a rare occurrence. This is the opportunity. Versus in the book, you don't get that all. It's like it could be a random Tuesday. It's about whatever it is that he made to make it work. It has nothing to do with like the natural elements or the weather or some extenuating circumstance.
Yeah, you don't need lightning or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jumping to the end here, the creature ends up freeing the sailors in the film, and the captain decides that they should head home and not continue their trek. In a way, he doesn't want to follow Victor's footsteps. And this is kind of similar in the book. However, the creature, upon Victor's death, he decides he wants to end his own life. And yeah, we don't really know what happens with the creature at the end of this movie. He's kind of just like
alone in
the Arctic.
Alone in the Arctic.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the idea of him helping the sailors because his issue was with Frankenstein. With Frankenstein, not these sailors. Frankenstein has died. They're not like they've made their peace, I suppose. Like they've said their goodbyes.
Yeah, they have a heart to heart in this version.
And I like him doing that. Maybe because in the book he says so much, particularly in the third volume, that he has decided that all of humanity is evil, that there is no saving anyone, there's no redemption, that they all suck. And by choosing to save them from starvation, essentially, he's still choosing to see like goodness in people, even if that's not how he has been treated. But it was also nice that the creature was able to actually tell his own story instead of having it go through Victor, who is going to justify his own actions.
He's going to rewrite the story a little bit.
Yes.
All right, Reagan, what do you prefer, film or book?
Book.
Still?
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but I think I generally enjoy the books more just because what I like is the psychological aspect and that struggle. And that's just a lot easier to have in the book than it is in the movie. I mean, I did enjoy the movie. Clearly, it takes a lot less time to watch the movie than it does to read the book. So there is that aspect. And I do think it's a very good adaptation.
I think I'd have to agree. I think the book is definitely going to stick with me a bit more than the film. And as we've kind of talked about the film more, I think my issues with it are coming more to the surface.
Yeah.
Obviously, I talked about my pacing issues and stuff. And also, and then the lack of kind of characterization with Victor. I feel like
Mhm.
there was less of that in
Yeah.
this film
I didn't
compared to what we get in the book.
I
So,
mean, I didn't like as a character, I don't like Victor. I mean, he's important and I care about him in terms of the story, but as like likability,
no, yeah,
I don't
no.
you don't like Victor. I preferred him in the book, and maybe part of this is because there isn't that the angel or whoever telling him to do this and like kind of I don't say commanding almost. Yeah, I prefer it to be his own choices and decisions
Mhm.
rather than it being I guess we're putting the blame on someone else or something
Yeah.
else.
All right, this versus that. These are some kind of deeper this versus that.
Ooh. Okay.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Do you prefer a philosophical gothic tragedy versus dark fantasy elevated horror? So in this case, the gothic tragedy would be the book.
Mm.
The dark fantasy elevated horror would be the film.
Book.
Okay. So you would pick up another book like this.
I would, although I will say, I'm so grateful that you help, like, were my accountability buddy for this
Mm-hmm.
because I started this book like 4 years ago. That sounds terrible. I read the very beginning, the introduction of explaining really about Mary Shelley's life, and was like, okay, I'm gonna, read the text. Didn't finally got around to it,
There you go.
and I will say, I think the only reason I got through, particularly the letters, was because I had this. And so I'm glad I did. It would be hard to, I suppose, like self motivate
Mm-hmm.
to get through some because
It's a mental struggle for sure.
yeah, I mean it's a lot more. It's more rewarding, but it does take mental effort.
I'll have to disagree with you on this one. Not in terms of like this book versus the movie, but in terms of like genre. I like elevated horror.
Mhm.
I think dark fantasy. I just haven't watched a lot of gothic movies or read a lot of gothic books.
Mhm.
I feel like I definitely have dove more into dark fantasy and elevated horror. So
I've definitely noticed that. I think about when we've talked about like movies of I prefer this goes back to my love of Scooby Doo. Of I love the monsters just being people that suck.
mm-hmm.
Like that to me is that's how it should be. You want the monsters to be the monsters sometimes. Or like to be
Mm.
supernatural and I think rather than because I think
Not necessarily.
okay.
The horror that sticks with me is
Mm.
typically the stuff that involves humans doing the violence.
Okay.
I mean, I love the Saw movies and Purge and
Mm.
all that stuff. Psycho, humanity being the real horror and the real spooky, scary stuff.
Mm.
I do like that. But in terms of like which of these genres would I gravitate towards, I probably would go with the latter.
Yeah.
So who do you think is worse? Book Victor or movie Victor? I feel like you've answered this already.
See, worse is hard. Ooh, I am gonna say movie Victor.
Really?
Yes. And I think
Because you were just saying that you feel like his motivations are more spiritual or like
mhm.
connected to spiritual fate.
Yeah, but I think to me I think that almost makes it worse because he has no control over it versus if you have control you can try to talk to them about like they can kind of part of me goes like okay maybe Victor could have been reasoned with versus when you're talking about it being more of like religious fanatic kind of thing it kind of
Mm.
feels like you can't do that
Oh yeah, you're right.
so maybe a little bit more malleable in that way
Because he does
and
change his mind about making the bride. To make
yeah he learns
he's changes his mind at the last second.
he definitely learns versus like a movie Victor if he wasn't dying already would he have stopped going after the monster you know like would he have ever I don't know I feel like book Victor maybe learned a little bit more than movie Victor
I don't know. I think Book Victor would have kept going.
that's true
He wanted them to keep going north just so he could catch up with the creature. The only reason he got on the boat was because they said they were going north, and he was like, "Okay, I guess I'll accept
Even
your
though I've
help.
got one dog left.
Yeah, I'm gonna most likely die. I guess you guys can help me." All right, that is the end of our series on Frankenstein. If there are other adaptations you'd like to see in the future, maybe for Patreon, I don't know, let me know in the comments. Next episode, we're gonna have another guest on.
But not me, sadly.
Not Reagan. We're gonna have another guest popping in to cover Warm Bodies. So check out the book, check out the film.
Who is it?
WP.
Oh, I think I have met. Yeah, okay, I think I have met him.
No? Our friends. Those are her initials.
Oh!
WP.
Shit, look, it's late. It's late.
Yeah, so we have a returning guest on the pod. And yeah, follow us on @DreadfulDigestPod on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Give us a comment. Give us some stars if you want. Do you want to share your socials or nah?
I mean, sure. So Instagram, probably the easiest way to find me is just Reagan.Harwood. Yeah, my name's pretty easy to spell, honestly. So
okay.
You don't need me to spell it. I trust you're smart enough to do it.
You'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
Follow us on Instagram, and we have her tagged. So
although I am very excited to be a listener to your Warm Bodies, because I remember, not when it came out, but I do remember discovering the movie in my library, my local library growing up, and I really wanted to watch it, and I never did because I was afraid.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've never seen it, never read it, so this will be a new experience for me.
Yeah, I was concerned with body horror and nightmares. I remember distinctly thinking, oh, I wouldn't watch horror, when I have to sleep. I was like, wait, I have to sleep every day. That's not going to work.
So kind of impossible then.
Yes, so I'm excited.
Yeah, check it out. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.